All right, everybody. Good afternoon. We are Ready, Set, Crypto. How's everybody going today? Today is Wednesday, the 26th of May. Welcome aboard. And how we doing out there, Mav?
Pretty good, pretty good. Where is everyone coming in from? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're doing so, please hit that like button so we can beat the YouTube algorithm. As always, we like to push back as much as possible. But yeah, let us know where you're coming in from, how you're doing, what you're watching, etc. We should have a pretty good session today. I've got a nice list of projects to check out, so it should be a fun one. Should be pretty short as well. So definitely stick around for at least 10 minutes or so, and I think you'll appreciate some of the information I'll share. So, where are we coming in from?
Well, let's see. We got Matt from Cleveland. We got Buckhorn from Arkansas. We've got Nicholas from Newport Beach.
Nice.
Cape Coral, Bay Area. Hey, Sean, welcome aboard. Glad you're joining us today. Man, boy, it's a hot one down here in the southeast. I was up on the roof doing roofing at 92 degrees outside. So deep behind enemy lines in California, we have London coming in. We have San Mateo, California. We have Seattle, San Francisco Bay Area, Riverview, Florida, Toronto, Burleson, Texas, Cape Town, Chicago, Sacktown, California. Welcome aboard, folks. It's been a hell of a week, hasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
But this is what happens, right? This is what happens every time in crypto. Crypto is not a stable asset. Not yet, right? There's huge speculation in crypto, which would destroy most other markets. So it hardens the soul, right? It gives you a tough hide to trade this type of market. All right, we have Ray in Quebec, Canada. We have, let's see, Manuel from Romania. All right, Colorado, Texas Dad. All right. Well, welcome aboard, folks. I'm glad you guys are here. We're going to be with you for the next half hour or so, and then we'll get out of your hair. And just to give you an update on what's going on in the crypto markets, I'll do a little charting. One request that I have for you guys is if you want me to look at any specific coins, give me the pair, right? Don't just give me the asset. Give me the full pair of what you want to look at, because it makes a huge difference based on what you're trading at. So, Mav, once you take it away, I think you got some cool stuff to talk about here.
Alrighty. So for those who want to follow along, because this is obviously a spreadsheet of sorts and doesn't display the best on every screen out there, nor will I try to make it work for everyone. I'll do the best I can. But if you'd like to follow along and get some of this information that I'm talking about here, and just maybe access some of the other ones, we do this pretty much every week. We've taken a break from talking about projects for the last couple of weeks just because the market's been so volatile. But here you can see some of the projects that I've been talking about for the last couple of months. And all of this is in the link below. Look for the finger pointing to the link. And it's a free resource. It's our free website for you to community to come join. And it's awesome. Ready, Set, Vision is the name of it. And it's a great place for where we're sharing education on-chain analysis. And we're talking about projects that I think are, have potential, and it's just, it's a good time. So definitely come join us down below. But let's dig into this because I want to make sure that we hit this right off the bat with some good projects. For those who haven't watched our streams before or haven't been around for a while, what we're trying to do here is go with a general theme for the week in terms of what projects we're looking at. What is the general, cross section of the crypto market that I'm looking at And why is that? What's the market conditions? What's sort of the fundamentals in place that makes me want to say, okay, these are the 10 projects you should be looking at, et cetera. So in this case, what we're looking at here is right now, if you haven't been aware, the crypto market, as Doc was saying, has been really volatile. That's definitely a feature, not a bug of the crypto markets. We like the volatility. We like the free market action of the crypto markets. It's a little bit hard to get used to if you're coming from the equities markets or you've never traded before and you see your portfolio do 20% moves in a day. I totally get that. But at the same time, those are opportunities. Those are the sort of sales, as we like to call them, where you're able to load up on some of these quality projects that are going to lead the charge when the market comes back around, what we like to call a crypto bounce. This is where I like to buy quality. So in line with that, you'll notice that if we were looking just at the crypto market cap ranks of the projects we're talking about today, none of them are outside of really the top 150. So they're pretty big relatively to the rest of the crypto markets. And why is that? Why am I picking sort of that cross section? Why am I not picking, moonshots, for example? This is the time to load up the bags, as far as I'm concerned, on those mid-tier, mid-market cap projects that are showing quality, that are showing the potential to move higher because they have lots of really good fundamentals behind them. In particular, the ones that I'm looking at here today really encapsulate what I think is going to be the next sort of phase of DeFi in particular. Last summer, we saw an absolute explosion, a real Cambrian explosion, if you will, of DeFi as it relates to yield farming. And this summer, I think we're going to see something similar to that effect, but more so in regards to scalability, interoperability, our automated market makers, et cetera. So that's where right at the top here, we're seeing Polygon is just caught fire recently. When we talked about it back in, I want to say, what was it, 317, maybe it's definitely around here somewhere. I'm missing it right now, but we talked about it a long time ago. Yeah, back in February. All right, February 17th, we talked about it. Polygon was market cap ranked number 93. And at the time, it was still the top project that we're talking about in terms of market cap. But nowadays, fast forward 3 months, it is now market cap rank 11, right at the cusp of those top 10, highly coveted space in the crypto markets. Once you're in the top 10, you're golden. You're pretty much, surefire winner. So for Polygon to make that sort of move, to jump from, barely inside the top 100 to barely outside of the top 10, I think is substantial. That's something that doesn't happen very often in the crypto markets because it's really hard to stand out, especially with the just vast array of different projects out there, the ways that crypto has kind of, gone in so many different directions. And for Polygon to be making those sorts of moves, I think it's something we should pay attention to, not only for Polygon or Matic, if you will, itself, but the projects that are being built off of that. So if you go over here to the ecosystem and sector column, let's column, forgetting basic Excel stuff here today. You can see some of the ones that are being built or working with the Polygon ecosystem, such as Anchor or Aave. And these are the sort of projects that I want to pay attention to. And those sort of projects that are building out of ecosystems, I think what's going to define the next, phase of DeFi, the next phase of crypto, is the ability to be a hub of many spokes, to see so much built off of each other. Because I had this really interesting conversation this past weekend about, someone who had been following the crypto markets kind of from a distance. And their main criticism was, well, there's all these projects that are coming out and promising the moon, promising all these things. But at the end of the day, they're trying to, they have so big ambitions and so little grounds in reality. And, that was just kind of what held up the 2017 bull market, is that expectations far exceeded reality. And so what's changed over the last couple of years? Why is this different? Why does this excite me in a different way than what we saw back in 2017? It's the ability for projects to build off of each other. You can't just look at one project anymore. You can't just bet it all, bet the farm on just one project anymore. I don't think that's a really good strategy as it relates to crypto or just in general. And not only that, it's not, from a principle side, but also just the application here. What's happened is that all these projects are building off each other in such substantial ways, in ways that they're building each other up, basically. So you're able to build or bet on these ecosystems. And I think that's so great. I think there's so many things about that that help to legitimize the space to bring about more substantial projects and solutions and just really interesting things. So as it relates to what I'm looking for this summer in terms of what to bet on, where I think there's going to be strong comeback potential in the crypto markets and returns, is in the ecosystems out there. So we're looking for ecosystems. We're looking for projects that build off of each other, that act as good hub applications and help to further the DeFi cause. So that's where I see stuff like Aave. That's where I see stuff like Sushi. That's where I see stuff like the Graph and Anchor. These are all examples of projects like that are doing things that are, they're connectors, basically. They're helping to legitimize the space through the connectivity of, being able to build more easily, launch, more ambitious projects, connect things together, make the friction less, applicable to the space, and, just let us scale faster. Let us be faster with our iterations, et cetera. So I think that's just so important to pay attention to as it relates to what's going on this summer, where things are going. If we dig into some of these other ones, like reserve rights token, sort of a basket of stable tokens. Bancor has been around for a long time. They're being, there's sort of a decentralized exchange token as well as an automated market maker, a pretty popular kind of project these days. Or we have things like Ren, which are enabling, transfers between blockchains without having to wrap tokens. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff going on here. So if you want to dig into more of these, or if you like access to, I'll put out another top 10 list for our Omnia members. Link is in the bio below. If you want to dig into this stuff more, there's definitely the opportunity to do so. This is something that we talk about pretty frequently in terms of where the opportunity is, what's the upcoming stuff, what's interesting, what you should be following, where are the trends, et cetera. And if you just want to talk about that sort of stuff with a high quality group of people, I would highly recommend joining our Discord, being part of this community, because we aren't here to shill. We're not, none of these projects do. I don't really have any sort of, legitimate backing of any of these ones. I like these projects because I've studied their fundamentals. I know where they're pushing things in the crypto sector. I can see where this is going and that these projects are going to be a part of the future of crypto, DeFi, et cetera. So I want to be a part of that. I want to see that stuff grow, and I want you to know about it, because this stuff changes so frequently. It's so hard to pay attention or, understand what's going on in the space. And I think it's just so important for us to teach each other on that sort of stuff. So hopefully you got a little bit out of that. Again, if you just joined or you want to check out what I just talked about, link is in the bio below. Check out the little finger pointing to the link there. Free community to join. Not going to withhold information from you. But because we're in sort of a volatile state right now, because the crypto markets, it's not guaranteed that we're going to see a bounce. It may be the case that we'll be sideways and down for a couple of months here. I think it's also important for us to study technical analysis. It's important for us to look at the charts and where things are going, how the market is just responding to, extraneous events and sort of what's going on inside the space and where the catalysts are. So Doc, I'm going to turn it over to you to talk about the trading aspects and where we can start to glean some information from the charts and what we can do in terms of actual information from that.
Well, I think what everybody needs is a framework to make decisions off of, right? Because otherwise what you're doing is you're jumping onto Twitter or you're jumping into Discord and you're saying, hey guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? What should I do about this coin? What should I do about that? The sooner that you find a way to provide your own analysis and think independently, the sooner you are to start to get returns that will be more than the average, right? If you make the same decisions as everybody else, you're going to get the same returns as everybody else. So to me, I'm not a big fan of social investing like that. I'm a big fan of making your own decisions. So let's take a look at what we have here. This is BTC. This is on a weekly chart, and I've got a little bit of framework up here. So what I've got are fib retracements. So if we look at the initial swing, which is back here last summer. Okay, so we've gone from about 10,000 up to 65,000 during this time. And so what we do is we put on fib retracements, 23.6, 38.2%, 50%, 61.8. And the way that we use these is we're going to look for certain levels to show up as support. 38.2 is a very common place for the price to pull back. 50% is very common as well. And we can go as deep as 61.8, but if we go beyond this, this is kind of like the line of death down here. If the price goes below the 61.8% retracement, chances have improved to do what's called fill in the triangle. Fill in the triangle means it's going to go all the way back down to here. It's not guaranteed, but the probabilities are increased. If you lose the 61.8, you're going to fill in the triangle. So that's just a little bit of framework that you can throw on there. In TradingView, it's over here, and you're going to go to fib retracements. That's the weekly chart. So that's kind of a big zoomed out view of things on BTC, and you can do this with any coin. Going to the daily chart, you can see this, it carries over, the fib retracements carry over to the daily chart. Now what I have over here is called volume profile. And volume profile shows how much transactions or how much volume was transacted at a specific price. And these nodes do correspond to support. And you'll notice that we get down to this one here, and this is a very important one here at this level, which is right around 34,000. Where did the price bounce? Right there. What you'll also find is that when there's a lack of a node or almost a vacuum here, the price tends to run right through it, just like it did here, runs right through it there and runs right through it on the way back down. So what you have to watch out for are these sort of vacuum points. What this tells me is that if we lose 30,000 as support, we're going to see 20,000 in a hurry if that happens. Now, I'm not here to predict what's going to happen. I'm here to give you a framework for making decisions. Again, I don't know if it's going to be higher or lower next week. Anybody that tells you that they know the answer to that question is frankly full of it. So what you have to do is go down to a smaller time frame now. For this to reverse, what you're going to have to do is we're going to have to see this 5-hour chart reverse back up to the upside. And eventually what we're going to have to see is the daily chart do the same thing. We're going to have to see the daily chart reverse back up to the upside, come back down, and this is the tough part. Price has to go lower before it can go higher because you've got to print that higher low so that it can drive higher from here. You've got to generate that maximum negativity down at this level that gets everybody bummed out. All the articles will be negative in Cointelegraph at this point. This is what happens. You've got to build up the negativity at this level so you can get the short squeezed out of this and drive the price higher. So look for this type of formation. Look for a bounce back up. Look for a drop, and be aware of and anticipate the bounce from there. Okay, so that advice goes whether we're looking at Bitcoin or Ethereum, or some people were asking about Cardano, like what's happening with Cardano. And there's a couple of ways that we can look at this. We can see also for Cardano, and I'll finish up here in just a second, that if we take this from the highs down to the current lows, we've already bounced back 50% of this, so that's actually good. Now we can use the fibs in the opposite direction. If Cardano is able to rise above the 61.8, which is about, let's just say it's $1.90 versus the US dollar, then that means that this is going to fill in the triangle. Okay, so watch the $1.90 level, and that's a high probability if the price breaks above that, it's going to keep on going. Now, if we look at Cardano versus, let's see, ADA versus BTC, there we go. It's a little bit cleaner at this point. So some of these charts are a little cleaner than others. If we throw the fibs on this guy here and take it from bottom to top, you can see that we've already starting to drive above the 61.8% retracement. And the reason for this is because BTC is weak. Now, if BTC was strong, we'd see the exact opposite of this. And I think there was one more that we had here. There was somebody asking about like audio versus BTC. And this did not look very good. This was in a primary downtrend. This has been a primary downtrend since March. So there's probably better assets if you're asking for my opinion. There was one more. It was REN versus BTC. Let's look at this one again. This is not really a primary uptrend. This is find assets that are going higher in price, avoid assets that are going lower in price. Okay, so that's my 5-minute technical analysis read. That's a little bit of structure that you can use for any coin. Use the fib retracements, use volume profile. This will give you, use multiple time frames as well too. This will give you a very objective way to evaluate something where you don't have to just, bang on people on Discord and say, what do you guys think about this? What's going on with this? Nobody knows, guys. Nobody knows. The sooner that you can make up your own mind, the better off you will be in this field. Okay, Ethereum is kind of, let me just do a quick couple of these ones here across the board. So Ethereum is doing the same kind of thing, right? Ethereum, if we go throw the fibs on here, everything looks exactly the same, quite frankly, right? So Ethereum has bounced up to the 38.2 retracement, but this has got to roll over. More than likely, it's got to roll over, print the higher low, build up the negativity so we can have the proper sentiment to be able to drive higher from there. Somebody else was talking about Solana versus US dollar. I like this one. Look, frankly, everything, guys, just about everything looks exactly the same right now. It's just a matter of whether or not you're denominating against BTC or a US dollar. If you're denominating against BTC right now, probably you might do better because BTC is soft. If BTC starts to rally, you're going to have that headwind as well too.
So for those who are talking about Dogefather or anything related to Dogecoin right now, I would first challenge you to look at the top 10 today and use that as sort of a barometer for where or how the market responds when fear is the predominant emotion. And you'll see that if we exclude the stable coins, that it is the least gaining asset today versus the rest of the top 10. Now, that's anecdotal, but I think what is not anecdotal is if we look back and we look at the previous market cycles for the last 6 months or so, what has always been the case is, or has been the trend so far, is that when the market recedes, what first picks up is the market leader, that being Bitcoin or Ethereum. Then fundamentals sort of take over. So in December, we saw DeFi start to break out. In February, we saw NFTs start to break out. Those were, fundamentally back, ecosystems projects, and then the hype starts to take over. And so that's what we saw into January. That's what we saw into March, and that's what we saw into this month. Is the hype sort of takes off, and then it becomes kind of a crazy market where things like Dogecoin or things like, really silly NFTs take over as predominant talking points, sort of the flavor of the week. And that's just not where I'd like to be placing my capital right now. I would like to be placing my capital into more market leader, fundamentals type projects, less of these meme coins and things of that sort. It's not the right time for that.
Yeah, this is not the place. If you want to talk about meme coins, this is not the place to do it.
Yeah,
probably.
Well, it's just not the time for it.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see that towards the end of summer is a resurgence of some sort of, fad of that kind. But right now, no one's talking about Dogecoin. Everybody's talking about, where the market's going next, what's, going on with, Goldman Sachs saying something, or I don't know. It's not the story. It's not the flavor of the month anymore. So I would stay away from that kind of stuff just from a timing perspective. Because I think there's better gains to be made from fundamentals right now, as they're likely in a month or two, especially with the release of EIP 1559 with Ethereum in July. That's a big deal, so pay attention to that. probably the biggest deal of this year, comparative to the Bitcoin halving last year in terms of what moved the market, pre and post event. So that's where I would be paying attention to, and I'd be looking towards sort of what is driving the market right now in terms of. So people were asking about Solana. That's a really great one to be paying attention to right now because it's mirroring some of the same effects that we're seeing for Matic, for example, right now. I would not be looking at things that are kind of one-off projects or meme tokens. Dogefather is fine to be pumped, but I don't see the fundamentals behind it. It's listed on PancakeSwap for those who are looking for where to trade it. But do I have a glowing review for it? Not really. Same thing with Hex. I just haven't seen the fundamentals there. But that's just my opinion on it. So you can trade for or against that. That's will always be the case. But anyways, guys, let's talk about a couple more projects before we sign off here. And, probably be one of the last things between you and a long weekend for those living in the US. So yeah, let's see what you guys want to look at. Yeah, Cosmos is a good project. There's a lot of good ecosystem stuff going on there too. So that's another one I would include versus Matic or Avalanche or some of these upcoming ecosystems that we're watching. Obviously, Polkadot, Uniswap is definitely included that too. Those are just the ones that are kind of leading the crypto charge right now. They're doing a lot of the interesting stuff. They've got really fired up teams and communities. Really good stuff coming out of that kind of space. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm paying attention to right now. Thoughts on the graph? I included the graph in the list that we talked about earlier in the stream. So if you want to check out some information on that, I would highly recommend just looking into it. Coinbase actually has free education on the graph that you can take and get I think it's like $6 in the graph or GRT tokens. So go do that. I would highly recommend it. It's really good stuff too. So you can earn about 25, $30 of crypto just by taking their lessons. And if you know anything about crypto, you can kind of skip the lessons and, get a bunch of free crypto, which does, over time, if you just don't touch it like I did, my 20 or $30 of crypto is now worth like 200. So, yay, free money. That's what I love about this space.
Hey, Max was asking about options. I'm going to throw this over here. So, Max, these options which are going to expire, these are on LedgerX, and they also have ones that are on Deribit, and there's other players that are out there as well too. But these are the main two right now. So everything here is going to expire. It doesn't necessarily have to move the market around one way or the other. Now, in the equities market, you will find that there is a big tie between equities and the underlying of them, and they're hedged, and so everything is delta hedged around. So there is manipulation that occurs on expirations, but with the crypto market, we just don't have that right now. Options expire, they go away, and then nothing really happens to that, right? So I have options expiring this Friday on short puts. So I'm going to be the proud owner of some BTC, which is probably a little higher than I want it to be. But again, I got paid for the pullback. So yeah, don't worry about the options. If you have any questions about options, please reach out to me on our Discord, or you can reach out to me on email or whatever you want to do. We actually have a course on options in Ready Set Crypto as well too.
So someone was asking about Ripple and talking about the technology. Here's the thing, Ripple XRP, I've never really been a fan of the project, but I think what it has potential of right now is if it wins its lawsuit with the SEC, where the SEC was basically charging that it was an unregistered security of 1.3 billion in size. There is for and against, a lot of reasons for and against why it is or is not a unregistered security. But it looks like the Ripple team is very confident that they're going to win the lawsuit. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple Labs, is that right? was basically saying that if they win the lawsuit, if it comes away non-conclusive, or that it's conclusively proven that they are not a security, then they're going to immediately pursue actions to go public in the US, which is very exciting. So I would not be betting right now based off of Ripple's technology. That has 0% or maybe 1% to do with its price right now as it relates to what I care about, or what I think the market's going to care about. I think 99% of the price action on Ripple right now is going to be either related to larger crypto market moves, or more importantly, what's going on with the Cripple, the Cripple lawsuit. And particularly if it looks favorable for them to walk away in a positive light from that. And so, yeah, that's where I'd be betting right now. Basically it's a binary option, for or against, if they walk away winning that one. So yeah, we'll see, because it also has a lot to do with the larger crypto space. So that's definitely something, even if you're not looking to bet on that or follow Ripple or whatever, you should definitely still be paying attention to that, because that is something that's going to affect the next few years of crypto's future and possibilities and things of that sort. But yeah, I think it's, at this time, I haven't seen really good arguments against it. So it's sort of one of those things that's kind of on the fence, but it's leaning towards Ripple's favor right now, but we'll see. Okay, cool. What else we got? We got about 2 more minutes and then we got to get out of your hair. Let's see. Do I think banks will adopt XRP in the future? Maybe they'll partner with them, but is it going to be like the next big thing, like the next big thing or something, new world order, Ripple? No, I think it's going to be like every other technology company where they're going to license or, partner or whatever. Okay. Yeah. Algo futures looking good. All right. Well, if you guys have any set questions, we'll close it out for today. And as always, thank you so much for hanging out with us. As crypto does what it does, but I think it's going to be okay. I think we're still in a lot of really good, there's a lot of really good catalysts going on right now for the crypto space where we're looking to go. Yes, there's volatility, but that's part of the experience. That's why we like this space, because you have the ability to both buy and sell and take advantage of that volatility rather than just holding through, So definitely, if you haven't done so already, come join our free communities. We got some great links in the bio below. Lots of great stuff for you to partake in, learn about crypto, learn about different ways to trade crypto with Doc, and learn about different ways to look at blockchain on-chain analysis with our new community, Ready, Set, Vision. Come join our Discord to chat with us, a very non-shill space. So it's great to be a part of. And yeah, as always, thank you for being a subscriber of this channel. We do this every Wednesday. And now that the market's not, let's say, anemic, we'll start to talk more about projects and things for you to check out. So definitely every Wednesday at this time, we'll be here talking about cool stuff, helping you navigate the crypto markets. So yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you then. But until then, hope you're doing well. Enjoy the long weekend if you're here in the US. And Doc, I'll turn it over to you. But
nothing else to say. You guys take care and chill out. Make sure you have your structure, right? So don't get emotional about the markets. Make sure you have your structure. Yeah. Understand your price levels that you can make decisions on. You guys have a great week, terrific weekend, and we'll see you very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Bye.